Got it!
Are 10. Good. It was a while ago I asked for a hand in the lab. Are you ready to help me now?
Yes, I can help you now.
What I have here is my Hasbro GIJO Classified San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Dr. Mindbender. Probably one of my absolute favorite G.I. Joe villains from Cobra. He is the mad scientist who is also incredibly ripped and chooses not to wear normal clothes. He wears a cape and suspenders so that he can show off the body that he works so hard in the gym for. I assume he has a lab in a gym or a gym in a lab. And here is the original figure. He's got the same look, the nice purple pants, the gloves, the suspenders. And like I said, since he's one of my favorite, I also picked up the Funko Pop version of him. He's got his nice handlebar mustache. He's got his monocle and the suspenders and the cape and the purple pants. There is no reason to change this look. So all designs should look like this. They did some snow variants of the G.I. Joe back in the day, but just because it's can't go out in suspenders in the cold. So looking at the figure, probably one of the best looking G.I. Joe classified figures to date. This is one of the exclusive deluxe edition sets, so he comes with just a ton of accessories and special edition packaging. So he's got all his weapons and science gear. He's got a brain, hand, skull, typical mad scientist stuff. He's got the looks like some, not quite sure what those are. I'm gonna have to take a look at those once we pop them open. So let's free the good doctor. Yeah, since this was not a retail release, there's no special packaging or tape on it. It just slides right out of the sleeve, and the doctor could pop right out. Looks like his cape is in the material in the back. Otherwise, he can come out. The accessories look like they're in there much more secure. But yeah, this is a fantastic looking figure. He's got the soft goods cape on there. He's got the suspenders that are not attached to his body, so that's kind of like a work over it, almost like a belt or, he's got his monocle, his mustache. The detail on the glove guards is just so cool. Yeah, probably, I'm going to say probably a few more times, best looking classified figure I think to date. And that's some high competition. There's some really great figures in there. All right, so taking a look at his shoulder joints underneath his cape in there. He's got a little bit of a sticky arm in there. It might be a little sore from the gym still, so he doesn't have full mobility. This one's much better, so he might work out his left side versus his right side versus arms versus legs. I'm not about to argue with Dr. Mindbender's gym routine. If you look at his body, he clearly knows what he's doing. All right, so taking a closer look, his knees, we got the pinless joints. They look fantastic. He's got the really fantastic boots on there. And look at those belt buckles on those boots. The guy knows fashion. You got to give him that. So on the back, we got a little hole in the back. That's probably for an accessory. Once we open those up, we'll take a look what goes there. And let's figure out what accessories we want to open. I would say let's start with the body parts. So let's go with the middle. So when I was looking at the packaging, it looks like it is taped a little bit. I don't want to pull the things out. Like you could see that they're kind of stuck in there. So I don't want to chance break anything. So I'm going to just cut the tape and be able to slide out the inner packaging. So this way we can pop them out more freely. Like on the normal figures in the plasticing, this was before the days of the windowless packaging. You just turn them over and pop the accessories out. They're not really held in there too tightly. So we're gonna do that, and let's get them all out. And let's take a look. We got the skull, which is pretty amazing. Not gonna lie, any character that comes with a skull is okay in my book. And then we got some guns. This one in particular with the hose on it, we'll take a closer look on a little bit. That is actually very reminiscent of the original weapon that Dr. Mindbender came with. So I got a piece of tape on me. So looking at these accessories, they are all over the place. We have a hand. Dr. Mindbender might have said he needed a hand in the lab. Cobra takes things very literally, so that's why he wound up with this. I'm not sure if he can. It looks like there's like a bone piece sticking out. I'm not sure if he could hold on to it, or if it's just kind of for show. If it's on the table, it's not quite. It's not quite hand friendly, which was not intentional, but I like the way it sounded. So we'll figure out what to do with that. So now we have this. The tube will plop right into the peg in the back. And it's kind of a hose that attaches to the bucket. Like I said, this was very reminiscent of the original like backpack design with the hose on it. So I believe he fills it with fondue, and he brings it to all of the holiday parties. And we've got the brain that looks like there's a peg that goes in the skull, which is pretty fantastic. Just the fact that you can play with Dr. Mindbender doing his various experiments, taking out brains. This is another thing he loves to bring to parties so that he can show off his brain. Again, Cobra can be very literal at times. So now we've got some more accessories. Looks like we got a few more guns, and looking at those red canisters, it looks like they might be like kind of like a desk accessory that maybe he puts his various things in. Like not quite sure. If they open up, we will take a look. They look really cool. They're translucent, so you can see through them. And then we've got the more guns that he comes with. I know in general, Gijoe likes to have their characters, the Gijoe Classified likes to be able to hold all the accessories. I don't think Dr. Mindbender will be able to do that. There's a lot. So let's see, we've got his kind of blaster. It's got the hole in the front, so you can use like the blast effects that Marvel Legends and Gijoe Classified has. So it just plops right in. You can see the kind of the blasting gun for more action scenes or fire. So here's that red canister, and it does open up, and it has a peg in the bottom of it. So it looks like this is for the brain. So if you ever happen to take your brain out of your skull and you need a spot for it, pick up one of these. You might be able to order on Amazon. Amazon has everything, so if you need a brain holster. So that means this one is probably for the hand. That explains the peg. So that answers that question. So that was a fun little accessory that you have the pieces of the body parts for the experiments, and then you have the holsters for them. And here's another little gun. It does not look like it's a blaster gun. It looks like it's more of a, this is a medical term, it's a science-y type gun. It looks like it's got like a little vial on the back. He might use this for Cobra COVID vaccines. So either flu or just a bunch of vaccinations, or turning people into mutants. One of the other lizard people, Dr. Mindbender, he doesn't discriminate to what mad science experiment he's doing. He'll pretty much do anything. So these two weapons looks like they are interchangeable. So you take the tube off the back, whatever's in his fondue machine, and then it's probably a different nozzle. So if you're doing more of like a fountain versus more of like a thicker spread on crackers, Dr. Mindbender has got you covered. And it does look like that there's a peg in the back that we saw earlier behind his cape. So his fondue canister goes on there, and then he could hold the weapon. So as I had mentioned, he can't hold everything, but looks like he can hold one of the guns. He can holster his pistol, and then he could hold his vaccine machine, and then the others can just kind of go on his desk. Like I had mentioned before, Dr. Mindbender is my favorite Gijoe villain. So now I have a gaggle of Mindbenders, each armed with a monocle and mustache. Just each one of them is beautiful in their own right. So the more Mindbenders they put out, the more I'll be buying. Thanks for watching. Love this figure. Thanks, Hasbro.